Pizza Bianca is basically a white pizza. It's basically a naked pizza. It doesn't have anything on it except some olive oil and some sea salt and maybe some sprigs of rosemary. So I use a ciabatta dough for my Pizza Bianca dough, and one of the reasons why I use a ciabatta dough is because it has a pre-ferment in it called poolish. And so I'm going to scale out 250 grams of the poolish. Poolish should have a stretchy capability, and it enables your dough to really stretch. So poolish right on top of the water. And then I have 450 grams at home it would be bread flour. So bread flour in the neighborhood of about 12.5% to 13%. And I'm just stirring it together. We usually sprinkle the salt on top of the dough. It does help the salt to dissolve into the dough, so you don't end up, after you're done mixing, with streaks of salt in the dough. So I'm gonna let this dough sit for about 20 minutes. What happens next is it gets mixed, and in our mixer it gets mixed on a very low speed to combine the salt and the yeast for about a minute or two, and then it gets mixed on high speed for 2 minutes and 45 seconds. This ciabatta dough fermented for 2 hours. I'm just gonna sort of gently put it out onto the table. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to shape it into what is going to become a Pizza Bianca. And the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a well-oiled pan and then start to shape it into a focaccia. I'm really flouring this pan because I don't want the dough to stick to it. So see how I'm just really gently folding it into basically a log. And then I'm gonna put this log right here on this floured board. I don't want it to dry out and I want it to stay moist, so I'm just gonna take a nice amount of olive oil over the top surface and sort of petting it as I go. And so this will proof for about an hour. So it proofed for about an hour after I shaped it. And then just transfer it over here. I start to sort of put olive oil in the center, a nice amount, and then I go to the sides. So I really want to stretch this out. So I'm going to use both hands and really dimple. And then I go down the sides. It should start to stretch. So then I'm going to take some salt and I'm going to sprinkle it over the surface. And then I'm going to organize it so that the dough is really at the very, very edge of the peel so I can release it into the oven. And then I'm going to add my rosemary. The Pizza Bianca it's a thicker piece of dough than a regular pizza. So if you tried to bake a Pizza Bianca in a wood-fired oven where you're baking like small pizzas, it will turn black on the top and scorch really fast. So it needs a lower heat. And so when we were at the bakery, we'd bake all of our loaves of bread, and then literally we would turn the oven off because there was so much residual heat, and we'd bake the Pizza Bianca with the oven off. So with this guy, you want it sort of stays a little light, and that's what you want. And then you just want to let it cool down.